All right, let's get right into it. Did you know there's a secret conversation happening all around you every single day? It's a silent language, but it's incredibly powerful. It's telling you what to buy, who to trust, and even how to feel. And that language is visual design.
I mean, just think about it for a second. Why is it that you can look at a logo for a bank and just feel that it's stable and trustworthy, and then you see one for a brand new tech company and it just screams innovative and modern? Where do those feelings actually come from? And hey, it's not just about logos, right? It's that bright, shiny button on a website that practically begs you to click it. You know the one, the buy now or sign up button? Your eyes just go right to it and you know exactly what to do almost on instinct. Well, here's the secret. That feeling, that little push, it's absolutely not an accident. It's a language. It's a carefully crafted visual sentence. And today, we're going to hand you the decoder ring. We're going to break it all down so you can start reading the visual world like an expert. So, where do we start? Well, before we can learn the ABCs of this language, we got to understand the machine that's doing all the reading, and that's our brain. Because you see, how we perceive the world visually is way more complex than you might think. Okay, so here's the key idea. Your eyes aren't just little video cameras passively recording whatever's in front of you. Nope. They're more like scouts, sending raw data back to headquarters, your brain. And your brain is the interpreter. It actively organizes, translates, and sometimes even fills in the blanks to create a story that makes sense. Now, to do all this work without crashing, your brain uses a bunch of mental shortcuts. Think of them like cheat codes. There's a whole field of psychology called Gestalt that studies these shortcuts, basically how our brains are wired to group things and see patterns. And this is where it gets interesting, because smart designers know these rules, and they use them to talk directly to you, bypassing all the noise. And what's so cool is how simple these rules really are. I mean, if things are close to each other, we assume they belong together. If they look similar, we group them. It's like our brains are hardwired to find order in chaos. So yeah, these aren't just some made-up design rules, they're brain rules, and designers are just tapping into them. Okay, let's zoom in on one of these principles that I think is just brilliant. It's called closure. This is your brain's amazing ability to see a complete shape, even when parts of it are missing. Your brain literally fills in the gaps for you because it wants to see a complete, satisfying image. It's an absolute game changer for creating simple, unforgettable logos and icons. And there is no better example of this than the FedEx logo. That little arrow hidden between the E and the X, it's not actually there, it's just empty space. But your brain, using that principle of closure, draws it in for you. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. It's a total masterclass in design, sneaking the company's entire mission, speed, movement, precision, right into their name. All right, so now we know how our brains are wired to read this language. But what are the designers actually writing with? Well, every language has an alphabet and grammar, and visual design is no different. Let's dive into that. The easiest way to think about it is like this. You've got the what and the how. The elements are the what. They're your raw ingredients, your alphabet. The principles are the how. That's the grammar, the recipe that tells you how to combine those ingredients to make something amazing. So first up, the alphabets. These are your 7 basic building blocks. Seriously, every single visual thing is made up of some combination of these. You've got line, shape, color, texture. Even the empty space around things is an element. And of course, form and value, which is just a fancy way of saying light and dark. These are the fundamental tools in the designer's toolbox. And if those are the letters, then these are the grammar rules. This is how you arrange all those elements to actually say something meaningful. Things like balance, which makes a design feel stable, or contrast, which makes the important stuff jump right off the page. Without these rules, all you have is visual noise. But with them, you get clear, powerful communication. You know, the legendary designer Dieter Rams had a quote that just nails this whole idea. He said, "Good design is as little design as possible." And that's it, right there. It's not about cramming more stuff in, it's about being intentional, using only what you need and organizing it perfectly to get your message across. It's all about purpose. Okay, so we've got the psychology of how we see, and we've got the basic alphabet and grammar. Now for the fun part. Let's see how this all comes together in the real world, how designers use this language to grab your attention and tell a story. You see, these principles don't exist in a vacuum. They work together like a chain reaction. For example, a designer might use contrast, like a bright color on a dark background. That creates emphasis on one particular thing, and that emphasis is what builds hierarchy, which is basically the design telling your eyes exactly where to look first, second, and third. A perfect example? Just look at the covers of The Economist magazine. They almost always use this super simple palette: red, white, and black. Why? Maximum contrast. That bold red just explodes off the page, creating instant emphasis on the headline or the main image. It's not just about looking cool, it's a deliberate choice that screams urgency. Pay attention. This is the most important thing you need to know this week.
But of course, this language isn't just pictures and colors. We have to talk about the words themselves. Typography, the art of arranging text, is like a crucial dialect in this language. The font you choose can completely change the personality and the meaning of your message. Let's break it down to the two big families. You've got serif fonts. Those are the ones with the little decorative feet on the letters. They feel traditional, reliable, authoritative. Think of a classic newspaper like the New York Times. Then you have sans serif. Sans just means without, so no feet. These feel modern, clean, straightforward. It's what tech companies like Apple use everywhere. See, the font is sending a powerful signal before you've even read a single word.
Okay, let's bring back our star player, the FedEx logo, to tie this all together. What do we have? We have an element, that brilliant use of negative space, and we have a principle, unity. Everything works together in perfect harmony. The bold colors, the clean, simple font, and that hidden arrow, it all combines to create one coherent, unforgettable idea. It's like the perfect, elegant sentence in the language of design. So at the end of the day, why does any of this matter to you? Well, because once you learn to speak this language, you become a much smarter, more critical reader of the world around you. You can start to see the invisible strings, the deliberate choices behind every ad, every website, every logo. You start to understand how they're trying to talk to you.
And that's really the big takeaway here. Because once you start noticing things like closure, hierarchy, and contrast, I promise you, you won't be able to stop. You'll start seeing the world in a whole new way. So, I'll leave you with this question. Now that you know the basics of the language, what are you going to see differently?